The idea that a father needs to sit around like a second mother to make a child healthy is a fallacy. In fact, I'd say it's detrimental to the child. I see all these dudes out here, they have a kid and they basically become mother number two. Why? The mother keeps the child alive. As a father, it's your job to be impactful. You need to guide, you need to be a role model, you need to be a superhuman. Everyone should look at their father like a superhero. That's what you should genuinely view him as. It's hard to be a superhero if you're home every day arguing with your wife changing diapers. That's not what a man should do. A man should rock up, teach lessons, be impactful, and it's more about quality as opposed to quantity of time. There's a whole bunch of dudes out here, and chicks, their father's home all the time, fine, but if you're home all the time, you're gonna lose to a degree your mystery. You're not gonna have that magical power as opposed to, whoa, dad's home. I'm telling you, the biggest mistake fathers make is that they let the woman convince them that to be a good dad, they need to be there all the time. That is a complete lie. If I had a son, it would be my duty to be out here, traveling the world, making money, having impact, being a fantastic individual. That is the primary focus of my existence as opposed to sitting there with my boy all day, every day. I can come home every 2 weeks with a story. Boom. And he'll be like, that's the boss. Yes, dad is the boss.
Is there a minimum or like a maximum? So for example, you said just come home every 2 weeks, your dad came home every month. Do you think there's an amount where you could be away too long?
No.
Really?
Not really. I mean, it's hard to quantify in a very, very specific, quantifiable way, right? It's hard to quantify. But the point is, if you make a large enough impact, you can see if I had a son, I can see it once a year. But my son should want to emulate me. He should want to be me. He is me. So I have to live a lifestyle which is worth emulating.
Okay, so I really like Tate. I'm definitely not a Tate hater. I agree with most things that Tate say, but I think he's completely and utterly wrong in regards to fatherhood here with what he says. And I believe that I have the statistics to back me up on that. You see, the reason I really wanted to do this video on this subject is because Tate has a huge influence now. Yeah, he's gone viral the last 6 to 9 months. He's blown up, he's got millions of followers, and most of his followers are young men, teenagers, young 20s, etc., pre-kids. And they worship him, they idolize him, and they believe almost everything he says. And so my fear is if they take this on board and they agree with this idea about fatherhood, that you don't need to be around that much, my big fear is that's going to undo all the other great messaging he does. I really believe that. If all the guys that follow him take on board everything he says, including this, it doesn't matter about the rest of his message. It's not going to work. It's not going to be, boys are going to really suffer because of the message that he's promoting here, that fathers don't need to be around. I really disagree with him, and I think this is his worst take on a situation that I've come across. And certainly probably the most dangerous, especially for men and boys. So I'm going to back this up with some statistics. I've got some statistics here to go through. Okay, and some of these statistics are to do with completely absent fathers, and some of them are to do with fathers that aren't very present, that aren't in the lives consistently of their children. So let me just go through a few of these here. I've written them down. So a 47% increase in poverty when fathers are not in the home. All right, so not completely absent, but they're just not living in the home. 279% more likely to carry guns and deal drugs, absent fathers. Girls are less likely to engage in risky sexual behaviors when they have a father that is in their lives consistently and they have a close relationship with their fathers. 71% of high school dropouts are from fathers' homes. If the father lives at home, 40% less likely to repeat grade school. 40% less likely to repeat grade school. 85% of minors that are in prison have absent fathers. 85%. Crazy. Fathers that are consistently involved in their children's lives, particularly with boys, do much, much better in school. They have better verbal skills as well. They have fewer behavioral issues in school. These are fathers that are very active in their children's lives. 75% of adolescents with substance abuse are with absent fathers. 75%. 71% of teen pregnancies are from girls without fathers consistently in their lives. 63% of youth suicides are from children with absent fathers. 85% of children with behavioral disorders are from absent father homes. And infant mortality is twice as high when the fathers don't live in the home. So that's some of the statistics that I found on this, only just some of them. I mean, there's plenty more. There's a great book called The Boy Crisis. I'd like you to read. It's full of all these statistics. And that's just some of them. Like I said, father's completely absent, father's not in the home very often, not in the child's life consistently. So Tate's saying that you don't need to be around. And on some level, he's right, in the sense of it's better to be around a small amount of time, but you're a good father and you're good to the child, than it is to be around all the time, but you're an abusive father and you're a terrible father. Now, in that sense, it's good. And I understand what he's saying. You want to be a hero, and I want to be my boys, my two boys, I want to be the hero for them as well. And a man should try to find the balance of being at home as often as he can and being out in the world and trying to make something and be inspirational to his children, right? And try and be a good man and a great man and be skillful and successful. It's a hard balance. Almost, there has to be sacrifices made. You cannot be the most successful you're going to be if you want to be a great father. But what's more important? You have to ask yourself, do kids really care? Kids don't care how successful you are. They don't know about that. They don't know the concept of money and hierarchies and working your way up and being a killer and being all this. They don't understand that. They don't care about that. Especially when they're young. They have no concept of that stuff. All they want is for you to be around. All they want is for you to be there, to be good to them, to love them, to play with them, to keep them safe, to protect them, to guide them. That's what they care about. They don't care, oh, daddy's off for 2 weeks, but it's okay because he's a multi-millionaire doing deals and flying around the world and changing the world for the better. Like, that's only going to happen. They're only going to realize that when they're much, much older. And by then you've already created so much damage from not being around very often. With my own son, he started full-time nursery this year. He's 3 years of age and he started full-time nursery a few months ago. And that meant I can't see him as often as I like. I work in the afternoons and he's in nursery in the mornings. And he's really struggled to adapt to that, to see me a lot less. And it's something I've seen him having to wrestle with. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I've been very fortunate. I've got to spend so much time with him previously, and I get to spend a lot of time with him over the weekends. And I do see him throughout the week, in the mornings, a little bit in the afternoons. But he wants me there. He doesn't care what I'm doing, what I'm working, you know? And obviously you have to provide. Your job as a man and a father is to provide and protect. But make no mistake about it. The greatest gift you can give your kids is your time. Being present with them. You can have quality and quantity. Now you might be saying, but Ryan, it's worked out well for Tate. His father wasn't around much and look at him, he's a huge success. And I would say, listen, this is a man, Tate's a man with trauma from that. Now he's been fueled, that trauma has fueled him and he's gone on to achieve great things. I don't dispute that. But here's the thing with child psychology, and I know this because my wife's a psychologist and she's explained this to me and I've looked it up myself. When a child is young and he experiences this trauma with the relationship with an absent father, he'll do one or two things to protect himself. He'll either identify with his father or he'll reject his father. So he'll say, right, okay, I accept this. I love my father. I guess this is the way fathers are. I'm going to be this way. I want to be like this man to protect himself. Or he's going to completely reject his father and not want anything to do with him and hate him. And Tate clearly is identified with his father. And now he's become like his father is. Certainly he's saying that's how he's going to be as well. That he will be an absent father, and he's trying to justify that by saying, oh, I'm around the world and I'm being a hero and doing all these amazing things. That's why I don't need to be around. I only need to be around once every few weeks. When in reality, the chances are and the statistics are that if he's going to have children, or if he already does have children, they're more likely they will have problems growing up because he's not around enough, not around as much as they want him to be. So yeah, let me know what you think on this one, guys. Thankfully, through these clips that I showed you, I'm looking at the comments, and most of the comments are really disagreeing with him in a big way on this subject. A lot of people saying along the lines of, look, I agree with a lot with what Tate's saying, but he's wrong on this. So exactly what I've said here. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it resonates with you, because this is a really, really important thing. The world needs good fathers. It needs great fathers that are involved in their children's lives, and they're going to raise up healthy children and healthy boys. Then you can go out into the world, these boys, with healthy relationships, and they're much more likely to then go out and be successful and do excellent things themselves.